time for this third demonstration of the year, this new showroom. Phoeniks has been at the forefront of innovation in commercial kitchens since 2008. We've been the first one bringing a vegetable cutting machine with blades that kills bacteria for a safer environment for your patients or customers. We've been the first one bringing a salamander with blade detection system to reduce the energy consumption. The first one to bring a combi oven ventless that can be installed anywhere. Or we've been pushing for electric kitchens, fully electric kitchens. So for the future, we just endeavor to continue doing exactly that. With our showrooms and demo kitchen in Brisbane, Sydney, and now Melbourne, we can show you or your customer the equipment in action, assess the quality and the solidity of the equipment that we provide here in Australia. Our goal is basically find solutions for you or your customer to get better food, have a safer environment, or having your staff working in more comfortable conditions and make your business more profitable. So we're here to help. Now we'll leave you in the hands of Chef Margot and James on smoking. So that's the topic of this demonstration. And we'll show that through two appliances. The smoke inside, that is an add-on on our MKN combi ovens, and the German smoker from Helia. So I'll leave you in their good hands. Thank you for coming again, and we'll be around for drinks or for additional information. There you go.
Hi guys, so like Jacques said, this is the MKN Flexi Combi with smoke inside, which is the smoke box is put in a point of manufacture as an add-on to the combi oven, and allows you to basically build the smoke concept into your cooking programs. So as if we go into here to order chef. So it can be as a so onto here, so and all of the normal, and then for the smoking, it can be added in as part of the program at the beginning or at the end of the cooking program. You can adjust the temperature, so until I think it's a maximum of 180, and then timing. So we just a 10 minutes, and then intensity.
So you've got different levels. You can either have a mild, and then normal, and then intense.
Yeah, and then we also have the pre-glow. Pre-glow is used if we're using a larger chip of a slower smoke. So we're using the last one. So if you wanted to soak the chips beforehand and then insert them into these, this is remnants of the ones we just used before. Yeah. So this was the ones I'd use on the larger ones, and I soaked them overnight, and then just with water on this one, but it just releases the smoke slower. So I think it's if you wanted to introduce a couple of hours of the smoking, so over a long period of time, we'll introduce it like that if you soak it. You can soak them in other things, I suppose, apple juice and some of this. You can also use it on the brining of your product as well. So if it's pork bellies, you can put it into the brine as well.
So you've got all different flavours. You've got maple, you've got apple, you've got cedar, just depending on the style that you're looking for. And then you can also actually add some spices onto it. So you can put the spices on top, or you can add it later on. So I mean, you know, the choices, you can do anything, tuber to berries, peppercorns, chilies, cumin, mustard seeds.
So it kind of adds you can control the degree of smoke you want to put into your product. So if it's a lighter product, say just the fish or the salmon or even butter, or you go down to salt as well. So you could have a tray of salt in there and just put a lighter smoking flavour into it over a long period of time. So I would use for the smoking probably the larger chips soaked for a good while and then probably over a couple of hours just to give that really nice smoky flavour to the salt.
So we've had a lot of fun playing with the machine today.
Yes, we have.
And I do maybe smell a little bit smoky.
I'll show you, so we did a brisket overnight on our overnight cooking. So we select into the overnight cooking and then the smoked brisket.
So James, that's a recipe that you used from the Auto Chef and that you modified to add and to fine tune.
So the overnight cooking of the brisket is around about a 17-hour cooking program where it introduces steam and everything onto these. So, and then low temperature cooking. And then finally it's 15 hours at 85 degrees. And then on top of that, I edited it with introducing smoke. So that would just be a plain overnight cooked brisket, 15 hours, which makes it incredibly tender and just falls apart. And then I've added, so we did a pre-glow, so just to get those chips going for 10 minutes. So it really burnt into those chips, introduced it, and then 30 minutes of smoking. At a normal temperature, so I've added just the intensity. The temperature was 90 degrees Celsius, just so it's more of a lower temperature, and then just a normal intensity of smoke. With that, you can see you can adjust that to a mild or intensive onto that one. And then the last step I added to it was just the perfect hold, which is basically it turns it into a holding oven or a hot box, just holding your product at the right temperature until you're ready to use it. So, and that's all into those steps of program. So if you wanted to set it into that, like before you're leaving the kitchen, so 17 hours, that cooking program, it's done the smoking and there's the holding, and then you come in a couple of hours after that, it's holding it for you until you get there. And then it'll hold it at that temperature. So as soon as you open the door, it's ready to go.
And the great thing also about it being pre-programmed into the smoking is it's all part of your HACCP. So when you're doing a USB and having to report back, it's all contained in the computer on the actual system.
So I guess with the processes with what I've got in here is the brisket and some tomatoes. So like with the tomatoes, I probably only have them in for around about 10 minutes. So if we could go into this, okay, you can introduce the rack timing. So you could have numerous products in there smoking. You can set a timer for each rack that if it's just your tomatoes, you need for 10 minutes. This one's for half an hour. The buzzer will go off, you bring it out, you bring your tomatoes out, and then you close the door and it continues for the next 20 minutes smoking your brisket. Whatever you want. So all levels set for the timer. With the briskets, there was no brining because it's overnight cooking. That's what I was using for the tenderization. And the marinator's got it on it. But
come closer, everybody.
No, it's not that intimidating.
This has got a nice, so it's even got that slight little smoke rings and everything onto it. What I'll do, I'll bring this out in a moment and we can have some, I've got some little sliders there we can put onto them with some slaw. But you can see how tender it is, and that's the 15-hour cooking cycle. But then with just at the end, you control how much smoke you want on it. Whether you want quite an intense smoke. This one's about medium, the intensity of the smoke.
We started it with intensity and we're like, oh my gosh, it's really intense. So I actually did pull it back to normal. We had to sort of open the oven a bit, so it's very powerful. And I suppose if you had a chunkier piece of meat, you really go for the intense, but because it's a little bit smaller, we just pulled it back a bit.
Do you find the intensity the same depending on the size of the chips too though? Like if you use a smaller chip, then it's not on it.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes...
It would be not as smoky.
Yeah, okay.
If you just wanted like a short introduction of smoke, you would just use a dry chip, large ones, and then it just gives that burst of smoke, something a bit lighter and everything. But if you want it over a longer period of time, if you're getting up towards the half hour to the hour mark, I would suggest soaking them overnight before you put them into there, and then it will just give you that more of a low and more, flavours of smoke. But yeah, you can introduce the spices into the wood and sort of this. Tea. Other people have used tea leaves and stuff like this. I know some chefs have used a lot of tea with duck and stuff like this. Yeah, the duck breast. So these duck breasts were done in the other Helia this morning. I just wanted to do these ones just to give it more darker and intensive smoke. And I think later on we're going to go to the Helia and we'll do a lighter smoked duck breasts, duck legs, sorry.
And also a salmon. So we've been brining a salmon, so we're going to talk about that in a minute too.
That's a good segue into basically the preparation side of the smoking is the brining. So,
okay, look at this everybody. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah.
So I just did a salting of this yesterday for about 5 hours, just with the dry salt sugar solution and some few spices, and then washed it off, soaked it off, and then just put this is a rub that went over on top of it. So we will smoke this in a moment. But
so talk about what the rub is.
The rub is got a little bit of ground coriander, black peppercorns, got dill on there. I used a little bit of chili, black pepper.
There's a brown sugar, so it's going to caramelise.
Yeah, so it'll give that bit of a darker smoked salmon rather than that really light pinkish one. But
so does it end up being a hot smoked salmon?
yes, hot smoked salmon. Yep. So you can do a cold smoking into
in either.
Yep.
In either, yes. So you could put the ice basically into the bottom of the cavity. With the Helia, you've got a tray you can bring out. You fill it full of water. Put it into your freezer overnight, so that it becomes a completely frozen block. With this one, maybe Jacques knows a little bit more about this one, which is we have
Yarra Valley caviar.
Yarra Valley caviar. I use the MKN FlexiCombi.
Yeah, this guy has been the first one buying the smoking side in Australia. His story is that he started smoking caviar. He's got a caviar farm in the Yarra Valley. And the way he was smoking, he used backpackers with smoking gun.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So you got to start somewhere.
That's their 88 hours of
but
slave
with the
labour.
quantity that he was producing, it was fine at the start. But then he couldn't find enough backpackers, and the backpackers smoking all day, they were just running away. So he called us because he saw about heard about the smoking side.
Is that retrofit?
No.
Yeah.
It has to come.
It
Yeah.
has to be at
Exactly.
manufacturing.
Yeah, because the software is integrating it, we can't retrofit. But he basically bought the combi, and the way he does it, he fills the combi with ice cube, leave the ice cube in there and melt and reduce the temperature into the cavity. Get the ice cubes out, put the caviar in the jars, and then put the smoking,
Oh, so they're already jarred when you put them
Yep.
in. Oh, okay.
and then go that way, smoke, and pasteurize after it, and it's done. So and we just bought a second farm, and who's about to buy another combi for the same purpose.
Have you tried hay? You tried to make it hay?
Hay? No, I haven't actually. I've heard of that before though.
Yeah, you're hiding restaurants before.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Right. So this isn't
There you go.
smoked because we went to get, well, James
Yeah,
went.
it's such a popular product. You cannot get hold of it.
So,
I
and
was
the-
called them,
Yeah.
and I was told it was out of Collingwood. I don't know Melbourne very well. I'm a Sydney boy, but
Well, he's actually UK.
yeah,
obviously,
long time, a while back. But I rang him up on the phone. I said, "Oh, have you got the smoked caviar?" And he went, "Yep, I've got it here." So I got in the car, little van, I nipped over to Collingwood.
Nipped 30 minutes later.
The traffic's a lot better here than Sydney, and I found it quite good. Got over there. By the time I got there, it was sold. It had gone.
So
So-
this is just normal, okay? But I think there'll be a nice
but
pop
if you
with,
go,
the, with the smoked.
and if you go on their website, they've got the different types of caviar smoked. That's directly out of the smoking side combi oven.
All right.
So there
Well,
you go. That's
I
about my
think.
story.
Did you want to say any more about that at the moment?
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the
I-
features of the actual oven too. The triple
Yeah,
glazing.
of course.
and-
But I think with the smoking thing, which is unique with MKN, is they've really adapted their humidity for smoking in this. Whereas different, I guess, to other smokers and all this, they've really done the work on the right humidity for how they smoke, and you'll find it out when you taste the product as well. It's like it doesn't dry it, and it doesn't just leave it on the outside of the surface of the product. It really penetrates the meat and right inside of it. So like normally you won't get the smoke rings or anything like that in. I mean, I remember smoking with a gastro tray. You did it. You go with the torch to start it, stuck it in the oven, and closed the door, and don't let anyone go out. And it gives it more of a real intense smoke on the outside of it. Whether it's the humidity, where they've set the humidity, real yeah. And then
Okay, we use that smoking tubes that they've got on eBay
Yeah.
at the moment. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
so I guess with the other features, we'll go through. So you got all the regular, the combi, convection, steaming. So smoking element is obviously when it's with smoke inside built in. Baking.
And this is an interesting one because what we're finding is some places that we're designing or having people design for us, they've got less space. And so we had one of our consultants call us and just say, I can't put a specific baking oven in, I need to just use your flexi combis. Do you have a baking? So we actually do have a designated baking app in there, and there is a bread proving in there. So there's a whole sequence where you prove your bread, your dough, sorry, and then you go through the whole cycle. And the other thing is to have the ready to cook, which is when you set your timer, when you set your program, the ready to cook won't allow you to start the program until the oven chamber is exactly the temperature it needs. And we had another client who was trying to do sourdough, and he got really mad, and he called me up and he says, my next batch is burning, da 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 da. And I said, did you use ready to cook? Have you turned it off? And he went, no. And I said, put ready to cook on, and your program will be exactly the same for the first batch of sourdough to the next. And it was. So yeah, so there's another feature of the MKN.
Yeah, what it does is the ready to cook takes it to that little bit temperature higher than what you programmed it. So if it's 100 degrees, then it'll take it to 120. So when you open the door, you lose that 20 degrees, and then by the time you've loaded it, shut the door, it's the exact temperature you want. So you're not wasting any energy trying to get the oven to come back up to temperature. Although a lot of chefs, they try to turn it off, it's actually finding a lot more now working with it and finding it's very good, even for service ovens. You know, they keep the ready to cook on there, so it's not losing any temperature every time they open the door. So what we're going to do now is
So this is a feature that's available on all size ovens.
At the smoke inside,
Yeah.
On 6 and 10,
Yeah.
team as well. So the team is a 6 and 6 or a 6 and 10 stacked,
Yeah.
but then it will smoke only on the one on the top.
On the top.
On the 20 tray, it could. The issue is it's going to be too high for health and safety to be able to access. So that's why we, even on the team, we advise to go for 6 and 6 and then smoke on the one on top. But otherwise, yes, up to 10. And the beauty with the MPN ovens, and you can have 6 trays and 10 trays, GN11 or GN21, in the same external footprint.
Oh, yeah.
So you could go for a 10 tray GN21 and have 20 trays and smoke inside.
Okay, now we're going to go back to this in a minute, but I'm just going to point your direction back over to the Helios smoker because I want to get our beautiful hot smoke salmon going. So this is the Helios smoker. It is German. And this is the countertop, as we would say. So it comes in 3 sizes. So if we just go over to here, that's our half GN in the small smoker. And then we go to the GN, full GN, which is 5 levels. And then we go back to a very deep, the larger smoker, it's called big. So, and I'll show you those cavities in a minute. So in the actual GN11, and the reason why we love the GN is because every chef has got this size in their kitchen. So it just works. So you don't need new trays or, hello Julian, you don't need new trays for it. It does come with trays. So you've got an actual temperature gauge here. So I just turned that on before, preheating, so it was the lights have gone off, so it's ready to go. Then you've got smoking. So this is all manual, okay? So you've got 15 minutes of smoking, and then you've got 60 minutes of a timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both the duck and the salmon in. And this is the fabulous thing about this smoker, is you can actually have different products and it won't transfer smell. So there's actually a rubber sealing around the side, and the chamber just keeps the smell and the odour from going anywhere. So you actually have to taste it to believe me. So that's what we'll do. And then we've got a little tray at the bottom. So different to the MKN is we're going to use just like a style of sawdust, and again you can use whatever you like. And again you can put spices on top of it, depending, and just a little bit of water. And then I'm going to put this. You can see underneath there's a little element there. I'm just going to place it on the element. Okay. All right. Do you want to get the duck?
Yep.
I'll put the duck in as well. So we have, we've got a duck here, and we've just marinated it very simply in some maple syrup.
Been confit beforehand, so we're just going to introduce the smoke part of it now.
So anyone can cook in this. You don't need a fully qualified chef to work in this.
You probably will.
Pardon?
You need the plate out,
Yeah.
otherwise it's not going to go.
What temperature have you set it at?
I've just sent it at 180. So, or 170. Can we do 170 in the end?
170, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to put this on for 15 minutes.
Put this on there.
Yep. And put that one on.
15?
No, we chose 5 minutes. So we'll do we'll do 10 minutes cooking. Sorry,
Yep.
do 10 minutes, and then we'll put the smoker on. Because we decided that 15 minutes is way too strong. You can taste this; it's nice, but it's a small piece, and so just need a little bit less. I know you do that.
It's actually really...
If you cut it, it will be easier to touch.
Oh, but we'll have other.
You want the piece with the handle?
So you can see that's so that's your GN, full GN, and then we've got our little half one. So if I can, oh, am I allowed to move this?
No,
No.
leave it there.
I was going to move it on the side.
No, it's okay.
And you can also do racking of fish. Just you put little pieces of fish on. Marinate it before again with the same system
like
of brine.
trout, whole trout.
Trout.
So the beauty of these smokers is they are single phase, 10 amp, 1.5 kilowatts. You don't really need a hood. I even have customers who put them on the bench and use them anywhere. So as a backup, if you don't do a lot of quantities, that's a perfect small item.
And you can take this as a catering job. So we would hold your brisket or even cook things in there for you because it goes right up to 250.
And it's supplied with their standard trays?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And you do coleslaw?
Yes. Absolutely.
So that's the, and this is the large one. So it's really deep. So this can actually do 48 trout.
So that's for bigger or deeper.
So it's really
you
deep.
can almost put half a suckling pig in there.
So Jacques has a customer in Queensland, Polish, a butcher, who does his smoking of his sausages in there. He does hocks in there.
His pork knuckles and all that on a regular basis.
So there's also, does anyone remember that trade show where they were, I'll do that in a second, where they were advertising smoked eggs? Oh gosh, they were dreadful. Anyway, don't do smoked eggs, okay? So just, you thought it was an example of what to do, but I wouldn't do that.
Unless you like smoked eggs.
Yeah. But then some of us were getting the smoked eggs and we're putting them in our cars. And the smoke and the egg smell was just permeating all over us. So, right, on to other things.
Talking of racks, where we're talking about everything, this is the Flexi Rack, which only comes with a MKN, which it gives you another 50% capacity into the Flexi Combi. So whereas, like in this one in here, that reaches with this part of it, goes completely to the back of your oven cavity, so you can get an extra. I think there's an image inside of the.
Yep. So you know how you're racking in an oven, you've always got that wasted room at the back of the oven and also in the front of the oven, and MKN is designed to crosswise load. So ergonomically, we feel that it's a safer way to load, and so with the rack, you can actually, you've got, so your GN goes in this way, and you've actually got the space here and here. We'll show you. So we'll just get one of these. Yep. Can you pull it out? Okay, so it loads. So it slides in here, and you can get a third and a third, or you can purchase the Flexi racks or the Flexi trays, and you can fit 50% more on. There's also, you can do chickens in, whole chickens, barbecuing. So, but that rack's not here.
Does that mean it will take a 400 by 600 baker's tray?
Yes.
Yes.
This way.
And
It's good,
MKN
isn't
is
it?
the only manufacturer that can transform a GN11 combi into a 60 by 40 dimensions. You just change the ladders inside, and you've got your baking trays.
We've also found people that perhaps can't afford a 10 tray will go to a 6 tray because you've got that 50% more capacity. Or someone who's growing, you think, okay, we'll get a 6 and get the Flexi rack. We'll get the 6 to start with, and then when you're growing more, the Flexi racks can be put in to increase your capacity. So,
The other part of when you're smoking in the MKN Flexi Combi as well is that the reinforced glass. It's just one single piece. It's completely all sealed in here. So there's no opening up the individual pieces of glass, trying to clean in behind it. And so this is all just in there. And then, so it's all sealed into that with great sound. And then can be all cleaned with the all-in-one wave clean system. So all your chemicals are all into this, with sealed in with wax, so there's no touching of it onto the hands or anything.
So it's your washing powder and your rinse aid. It's all
Rinse aid in
measured.
Yes. So you see it's indicating here, Wave Clean, it's telling you that it needs to clean, obviously because we're doing the smoking in it this morning and cooking overnight.
So it would be grey when it's clean, then
Yep.
it would go yellow, orange and red. Basically the oven is crying to be cleaned. So that's basically telling you that it needs to be cleaned.
So there's no excuses.
So
if you can see here, there's several little, what would you call them? Like little
spring?
Springs, yep. That just fold down over here. And then there's two of them actually, so I guess for more, if it really needs a more intense clean, you can put 2 capsules in there. Again, with the Wave Clean system, it's completely controllable cost. So there's no, one chef adding more capsules or tablets or whatever into the chemical, into the oven to clean. This one is, exactly what it is, how many you're using. It's straight in here, upside down. Sits in here like this. I don't know if you can see it, if you can see that.
Are they at a reasonable cost? Are they heavily marked up or anything?
The cost of them, it's around about
$16.
$16.
list
Per
price,
piece?
yes.
List price.
Yeah.
So compared to one tablet from the other German manufacturer, compared to one tablet, yes, it's more expensive. The thing is, you never put one tablet into an combi oven. And your guys, your maintenance team, because they want to look good, they will put as many tablets as they can in there so that the combi oven will be shiny. Meaning you've got absolutely no control on the cost for your business of what's happening. With this, you put one cartridge, costs $14, $15, and that's for cleaning, and that's it. The other advantage of our Wave Clean system compared to all the others actually is we use 1/3 of the water compared to all the others. On a 10 tray we use 36 liter, where all the others go for 90 to 120 liter per cleaning. So if you go on the lifespan of a combi oven, that's a lot of water that is spared with our system. We actually work exactly like a dishwasher. The water is recycled.
So I'm going to do a Wave Clean now, because after the smoking, so you would want to do that after you've been smoking in your oven. And literally to show you afterwards, once it's done, just press on the Wave Clean, how it will, there'll be no smoke remnants in there afterwards at all. Which you could go on to do any baking or anything else you want to do on there. So in here with Wave Clean, so it's just asking you, have you removed the cooking containers, the clean drainers? So it's just a couple of checks before the door is closed, and have you inserted the cartridge? You just check that, and then you can pick the degree. So an intensive one is 3 hours, medium is 1 hour and 50, and then the short, which we're going to do down now, is 1 hour.
And the short's enough to get rid of the smoke?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll run that one now, and you can try it afterwards once we finish on there. So I've done all the checks, it's on there. It's just press start, water pressure test, insert the cartridge. Cartridge inserted.
So you've got to confirm.
Confirm. And now it's starting into its cleaning cycle.
So you can go home.
Yeah. That's it.
Same cartridge for a 610.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or even
absolutely.
the Space Combis was behind you. That's the Space Combi team. My 2 6 trays.
So this one are what we call the space combi. While we are on it, let's show you. They're proper GN11 trays, not the 2/3 like many others. And we call them team. We've got the same Flexi Combi team. The team here in 55 centimeter wide, you've got 12 trays, GN11.
Yeah, clam.
This one is actually called a magic team. You close it like you close a German car. Magic team because it has 4 layers of filter. It has been certified according to the Australian standard 1668.2. So that means that I can install this combi oven anywhere. It gets rid of the blue smoke, the grease, the fat, the odors. You've got carbon filters in there, and all this is clean with a wave clean when I do a cleaning. You just need to replace these filters, these yellow filters, on a regular basis.
Is there a water component to that filtering? Like is it just a dry filter, like a charcoal filter, or is there a
Yeah, it's
plumbed in some way?
no, it's plumbed in some way. So you've got like the big hoods that you have. So it's water, condensate, hood, and drain. And in addition, the 3 layers of filter for the odor and the blue smoke. Yes. Yeah, actually. Yeah, exactly. So in terms of the service side, you see here these 2 screws. You've got a rubber lid and you've got all the electronics inside. So you don't need to pull them out to be able to service. You've basically opened this, you've got a drawer and all the electronic components are just inside. And they are, as standard, delivered with casters at the back to make them easy to move if ever you have to.
We've got whole moving boards with rationale.
Yep.
With a wood built on top.
Yep.
But,
So, yeah. So 55 centimeter wide. You can have them in individual. One of our best seller actually is what we call the built-in. So it goes on the bench. And so in your configuration of a cooking line, you can put it on the bench or stacked like that with or without the additional hood. So you can have some with, if you've got a hood, just use the normal team. If you don't, go for the magic team.
That's a meter down, or
A bit less. It's 850 from memory. Okay. There you go. Chefs, back to you.
This is it. This is it doing its thing now, cleaning in there. It looks.
So we can talk about the tomato and the smoking the tomato barbecue.
So what I did was, like I was explaining before with the rack timer, after the brisket was finished smoking for the thing, I set the rack timer for the bottom one for the tomatoes because I only wanted it about 10 minutes with a bit of smoke. So I just put these with a little bit of garlic, a little bit of jalapeno, salt, pepper yesterday, and I'm going to make, this is barbecue sauce base, and all my spices and stuff, and I'm just going to make a smoked barbecue sauce to go with our brisket and our sliders.
Well done. Well done. Enough from the smoking.
I've just done a bit more and it's not smoking.
You need more because essentially 15 minutes because you need to smoke it. If you put 5 minutes,
Yeah.
Bit of it nice and chunky there.
yeah,
And
go a bit less now. But yeah, you see now it's
Yes.
smoking.
Yeah, it was.
Anybody like to-
before. Yeah, but yeah, I was watching that.
Come and try some of these products. Guys?
They asked for a smoke for Geelong.
Gonna offer you one of those.
Sorry?
They asked for a smoke for Geelong.
No, I don't think there is. That's in the,
little bit of-
in the specs.
Smudge it where it works.
Due to the amount of equipment, if there is one needed, don't bother. Don't worry. I'll make sure it's in.
There we go, guys.
Okay.
It's just an example. If you can still see the colouring on the dark. So like the more intense, longer smoking, and then there's this more of a lighter.
And
smoking.
that was 200 degrees, and this is only 170. So depending on the style and whether you've got bone, whether you've got breast.
And I would say smoking is something that basically you would play around with. Timings, marinades, everything else. It's just trial and error to do exactly how you want it. But it's a lot easier to do that with the smoke inside.
So with the cold smoke, the beauty is that with the cold smoke, the elements going to heat the box, but you're saying the tray of ice.
No, so you won't add the heat into it, you just add the smoke, the top part of it. Only that little element will heat up in there. There's other elements built into this, the part which makes it into the oven, so it gets the heat. So the little elements that the tray goes on top of will be the only one that heats up. But what is suggested to do for the cold smoking is you bring this tray out, fill it full of water, put it in your freezer overnight, so that it's a completely frozen block of ice. You put it into the bottom there, and then put the smoke in there, and then just put the smoker onto it, so it just heats that element and then adds the smoke into it. Whereas not
And you can
heating
have it at a much lower temperature.
yeah.
So the temperature you set is one for that oven and one for the smoke?
No, just for the oven.
Just for the oven.
And then you're administering the smoke when you want to, whether it be at the beginning or whether you're at the end, or both, beginning and end.
You turn the element on for the smoke.
Yes,
It's just one bit, just all off.
yes,
So, yeah.
yes.
For example, if you're doing smoked salmon, cold smoked salmon, you're probably looking at around about 8 or 9 hours of a low smoke sitting there with the ice into the bottom.
We wanted to do it, but
Yeah, it's just timing,
we'd have
having
to wait.
it.
We'd have to be 9 o'clock tonight or something. We didn't think we'd get many people
It's
coming.
more theatrical to have the
Yeah.
hot smoke in front of you. You see it as it goes in, as it comes out.
This is a test for you,
I think
isn't
that's
it?
going to
Mrs.
just be
Brad?
in a couple of minutes. Does anybody want to
still
try
cooking there?
That's all good.
difference
We
of
pull
the...
out the duck, and then we're just finishing up the salmon.
You get a proper mash.
What does it look?
Yeah, and this is our
A piece of
Smoked
with
salmon.
bones.
hot smoked salmon. Temperature was around about 60 degrees in the middle. I think you can even go a little bit less than that, around about the 54, 59, just to keep it a little bit pink in the middle.
And then we got a smoked oil out of the duck. No, the tomatoes. So you could start selling that, make a little bit of money on the sideline.
I'll swim past every hour.
So what I'll do,
Will I get another chopping board? Is there another chopping board?
yes please, we go grab another chopping board.
Oh, you're right in the way, puppy.
Chopping board.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Beautiful.